from the Binghamton area as floodwaters continue to rise. Flooding is expected to be as bad as it was, or worse even, than in 2006. Officials have been asking residents to get to safety as quickly as possible, saying that waiting too long could be deadly. Several emergency shelters have already been set up. Broome County Executive Patrick Brennan from the county's public safety facility is here with an update. County Executive, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
So give us an update and tell us what is the latest in the city of Binghamton.
Well, we just had a media briefing to bring everyone up on status. We had a pretty successful evacuation operation throughout the day today. We're still in rescue modes. We've evacuated within the city of Binghamton approximately about 15,000 people.
Wow.
We're putting up several thousand in shelters. We've been fortunate that many people have been able to find shelter with family and friends. We're going to have to go through and verify that we got everyone evacuated from all the areas of the city. We're still in a flooding situation. There's still some light rain forecasted for this evening and tomorrow. The rivers haven't quite crested yet. We're fortunate in that it's cresting at roughly around 26 feet instead of 27 feet, so the flood inundation won't be as great as we expected, but it'll be several days before we know that we got everyone evacuated and can start assessing the damage.
We are actually looking at some video right now, and it's just amazing. The water is everywhere. The governor was there earlier today. Did he assure you that the city, that the county is going to have everything it needs to recover?
Yeah, we've got a lot of outside agencies with their resources at our fingertips. They've been very helpful. Several state agencies, National Guard, and our own local first responders have been doing a great job.
You actually haven't been on the job all that long. You took over for Barbara Fiala. She is now the DMV commissioner. She's also on the scene, is my understanding. However, you were in government for a very long time. Were you in government at the time when the 2006 flood hit, and so you knew what to do?
Yes, actually in the 2006 flood, I was the acting executive for the first week of that flood and ran these same operations here at the Emergency Operations Center.
Ah, okay, so it's like old hat to you. How is this flood different from that one?
Well, that flood was basically a river flood in 2006. We didn't have as much flash flooding as we did this time. In November of 2006, we had a lot of flash flooding. This event was kind of like a combination of the two. We got flash flooding in the western part of the county first, and then it developed into a river event now that we're experiencing all throughout the county.
Do you have any estimate at this point how much damage? I know it's very early, and as you mentioned, the cresting has not occurred yet, but what the dollar amount would be? I would imagine it's going to run into the millions.
It'll definitely be in the millions, but we wouldn't even venture a guess yet because, like you said, the river hasn't crested yet. There's going to be more damage than what we can visually see now.
Now, the last time that you and I spoke, it was actually on a much happier occasion. It was for Speedy Fest, and we were talking a little bit about finances. You had already said you didn't want to raise taxes. Is the county going to be able to do its share of covering the percentage here? I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 12%. Or would you like the state to pick up the tab? I know others in your position have called for that.
We've got a budget target this year for a 0% property tax increase. And I think we'll be pretty close to successful at achieving that. We'll be doing a budget address next week if we get to the winding down on this event a little bit.
Do you imagine that you will have to cut more dramatically than you thought you would in order to hit that target due to this particular disaster?
No, I don't. This event won't really affect that. There'll be a lot of applications for reimbursement. FEMA helps us quite a bit. I don't think it will affect local property taxes at all.
To what degree did you guys actually get caught by surprise? I know that there was a forecast, of course, and we knew that things were already waterlogged, but was there any way that there was to predict this particular event, that it would be so significant so quickly?
Well, it wasn't a surprise. The National Weather Service always keeps us updated. They run through several models. They always range from kind of a mild event to a very strong event, which this one was. You know, actually the jet stream coming from the west and the hurricane up over the Atlantic, combination with the remnants of the hurricane left out of the Gulf, with storms stalling in the northeast, has created you know, all this river damage. Right.
I mean, what are you most concerned about at this point? Obviously, the water has yet to hit that high level, but looking forward to the cleanup, what worries you most?
Well, we're still concerned tonight and probably for the next few days to come of just general public safety. You know, we want to make sure we have everyone evacuated that we need to. We want to make sure people have food and water over the next few days, and then we're going to start working on a plan of re-entering properties.
Yeah, we're looking at a lot of video of the city of Binghamton. How bad is it in the outlying towns? I had seen that some other areas, Endicott, Vestal, were also impacted.
Yeah, they've got more damage, record damage, than they've ever had before also. There are certain areas of the county that don't have flood protection. There aren't the walls, so it kind of comes up more gradually than it does as it spills over flood protection walls.
Right.
But there's a lot of damage all throughout the whole county. And again, like I said, it started out as a flash flood event, which created a lot of damage, which we haven't been able to totally assess yet in the western part of the county, all throughout the Nanticoke region. And then now it's turning into this river event.
I mean, it looks practically like a lake at this point. You know, what's interesting is that other people, perhaps in the Catskills and some other areas that were hit by Irene with floods, were not prepared because they didn't have flood insurance. Are people in the Broome County area perhaps more prepared because they did know that from that 2006 event and perhaps earlier that they needed to be insured against an event like this?
I'm not sure how many people took advantage of being able to buy flood insurance after the last event. I know Congressman Hinchey and Senator Schumer and Gillibrand have been working on the flood maps so that you know, they might be more accurate to what really is happening, and this event will show that.
Right. One other thing. Please continue.
I was just going to say, and that will impact homeowners insurance and flood insurance.
Of course. The one other thing before I let you go, and I know that you're very busy, so I really do appreciate that you had some time for us. Another issue that impacts, sort of dovetails with this, of course, is hydrofracking. We've spoken about that before as well. Some folks, Assemblyman Cahill, for example, and he's from the Hudson Valley, have asked that the administration expand the public comment period further from 90 days, which is already larger than the 60-day period, but because so many people in Broome County who would be so impacted by fracking would actually have an opportunity after the flood is over to take a look at that report. Do you agree?
Well, I believe that the DEC did extend the comment period somewhere in between, and they're also doing another comment period simultaneously with that. You know, they've been working on it for 3 years. You know, there'll be adequate time for the public to comment.
And even though this particular flood is probably going to divert considerable attention away from that, although it is a controversial and important issue.
Well, there's several different state agencies involved in this, and I don't really think DEC will be that impacted by flood damage.
No, true. Well, County Executive Brennan, I want to thank you very much for joining us. And also, just before we go quickly, is there anything in particular that viewers who are lucky enough not to be impacted by this event and might want to help would be able to do that you could recommend?
Well, no, we're still in this, like I said, a rescue mode. We want to make sure people are safe. Don't do anything foolish. You know, there's good advice. Turn around. Don't drown. Don't try and shut power off in a basement standing in water. All these common sense things but you know, we still tell people, we have to remind them to do that. And of course, we don't want anybody doing any recreational use of the waterways.
Right, not safe. Okay, thank you very much. Good luck, and we will keep on top of this story. I want to thank you for your time.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.